Hey there. Living on a low income can be tough. It can be challenging to make ends meet and afford basic necessities like housing, food, and healthcare. Even with a full-time job, some people still struggle to get by. It can be really tough to make ends meet when you're barely making enough to get by. Unfortunately, it's a reality for a lot of people, including people living in developed nations like the United States. Low income can make it difficult to afford the basic necessities of life, like food, housing, and healthcare, and forget about any luxuries or extras. One way to understand if a country and its people are doing well financially is by looking at the per capita income. Per capita income means the amount of money earned by each person in a place. It helps us find out the average income of people and how good their lives are. It is calculated by dividing the total income of a country by its population. If you like the content, do subscribe the channel and like the video so it may reach to other people and help them understand about per capita income. In the US, the latest estimates show different numbers depending on who you ask and how they calculated it. For example, the US Census Bureau says the average income per person was about $34,000 in 2019 and $35,000 in 2020. Another group, the US Bureau of Economic Analysis, says it was closer to $56,000 in 2019. And the International Monetary Fund says it was around $68,000 in 2021. However, these numbers don't take into account how expensive it is to live in different parts of the country. Per capita income is different from other ways of measuring a place's prosperity, like household income. Per capita income counts each person, including babies, as an individual. Household income counts all people living together as a family. Per capita income is used to see how wealthy or poor an area is. It helps businesses decide whether to open a store in a place. It can also show how affordable it is to live in an area. However, per capita income has some problems. It doesn't always show how well people are living, because it doesn't take into account income inequality. It also doesn't include savings, inflation, and children. Hence, it's important to understand the limitations of per capita income to understand the financial situation of people living in a country. First, per capita income may not provide an accurate representation of living standards. For example, let's say a town has a population of 50 people who earn $500,000 per year, and 1,000 people who earn $25,000 per year. If we calculate the per capita income by dividing the total income by the total population, we get $47,619. This number may suggest that the people in this town have a high standard of living. But it doesn't account for income inequality. The reality is that only a small percentage of the population in this town is earning a high income, while the majority are earning much less. Therefore, using per capita income to determine the level of aid a town receives could be misleading, as it may not accurately reflect the living conditions of all its residents. Second, per capita income doesn't reflect inflation. Inflation is the rate at which prices rise over time. If the per capita income of a country rises from $50,000 per year to $55,000 per year, it would be registered as a 10% increase in annual income for the population. However, if inflation for the same period was 4%, the real increase in income would only be 6%. Inflation reduces the purchasing power of consumers and limits any increases in income. Therefore, per capita income can overstate income for a population, as it doesn't account for the effects of inflation. Third, per capita income may not accurately reflect cost of living differences when comparing income across countries. Exchange rates can make a difference in how much goods and services cost in different countries. For example, a dollar might buy more in one country than in another. Therefore, adjusting for purchasing power parity is often considered more accurate. Purchasing power parity adjusts for differences in the cost of living across countries and helps to nullify the exchange rate difference between countries. Fourth, per capita income doesn't include an individual's savings or wealth. For example, a person with low annual income may have accumulated a lot of wealth and savings, which enables them to maintain a high standard of living. In this case, per capita income would not accurately reflect their true economic well-being. Finally, per capita income includes children in the total population. While this is useful for analyzing the standard of living for the entire population, it doesn't provide an accurate reflection of the income or well-being of individual children who may not be earning any income or have their own savings. Therefore, other metrics may be necessary to evaluate the economic well-being of children. Now let's look at some of the factors that affect per capita income in the U.S. Education. People with higher levels of education tend to earn higher incomes. For example, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the median weekly earnings for someone with a bachelor's degree was $1,305 in 2020, compared to $746 for someone with a high school diploma. Location. The cost of living varies widely across different regions of the United States, which can affect how far a person's income goes. For example, according to the Council for Community and Economic Research, the cost of living in San Francisco is 62% higher than the national average, while the cost of living in El Paso, Texas is 18% lower than the national average. Industry. Certain industries tend to pay higher wages than others. For example, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the highest-paying industry in the United States in 2020 was the mining, quarrying, and oil and gas extraction industry, with an average weekly wage of $2,032. Demographics. Certain demographic factors, such as age, gender, and race, can also affect a person's earning potential. For example, according to the National Women's Law Center, in 2020, women in the United States earned only 82 cents for every dollar earned by men. Similarly, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, in 2019, the poverty rate for African Americans was more than twice as high as the poverty rate for non-Hispanic whites. To conclude, income is an essential factor in determining the quality of life for individuals and communities. While per capita income is not the only measure of economic well-being, it provides valuable insights into the average income level of a population. It is important to address the issue of low income and take steps to improve the earning potential of individuals and communities. Ultimately, a thriving economy that benefits everyone is essential for creating a better future for all. This brings us to the end of the video. Give a thumbs up if you liked the video and do subscribe to get a notification for upcoming videos. Goodbye and have a nice day.